there's a narrative going around that the Chargers offense is lacking talent and they're not going to be that good of a unit this year. And I got to strongly push back against that. You see, when you look at the Chargers offense on paper, there are not really any names that are going to pop out to you. And most of these guys, you probably have no idea who the hell they are, but it doesn't matter. What makes the Chargers offense extremely underrated going into this season is, for one, they're going to have one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL this year. And that's a guarantee, and I'm willing to put some money on it. They got Greg Roman as their offensive coordinator. Now, if you are an OG NFL fan and you really keep up with these coordinator changes and these coordinator hires, you know that Greg Roman is one of the best OCs in the NFL when it comes to maximizing the run game. Everywhere he's been, Baltimore, for the last couple of years, they had an elite rushing attack. They only replaced them because they wanted more out of the passing game. What has been the Chargers' biggest Achilles heel on offense? They can't run the football. That's why they choked that 27-0 lead to the Jaguars in the playoffs a few years back, because they didn't have the ability to play a ball control style of offense. Austin Eckler was not what you call a lead back. He's a scat back. He's not somebody that you just want to carry the bulk load of your run game for. You bring in J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, two running backs that already have a good understanding of Greg Roman's offense in his scheme because they were with him when he was being the play caller up there in Baltimore for the last couple of years prior to last year. He also had a lot of success with the Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco 49ers. He is going to help the Chargers offense become a bully. And that's something that I think you need when you're in the same division as the Kansas City Chiefs, because it's been too easy for them. Now, even though you may not have a talented team on paper, you're going to be a well-coached team and you're going to have identity. Your identity is not going to be just, let's put the ball in Justin Herbert's hands and ask him to carry us. No, your identity is going to be, let Justin Herbert allow us to put the ball in his hands to win those games when he has to, but let's also help him out by giving him an elite rushing attack. When Greg Roman got hired by the Chargers, you know what he said in his first interview? People was like, how are you going to help out Justin Herbert? People thought his answer was going to be, oh, we're going to get some better wide receivers for Justin Herbert to throw the ball to. We're going to get some more weapons in the passing game. No, Greg Roman said, could you imagine Justin Herbert with the elite run game? That's the Greg Roman kind of response that I was expecting. People seem to forget that although it's a passing league, you still have to be able to run the football when need be, to take time off the clock and to take some of that pressure off your quarterback. Regardless of how good Patrick Mahomes is, Isaiah Pacheco is a damn good running back. Yes, running backs are easy to replace, but when you find a really good one, let's not act like it isn't a really big benefit to your Super Bowl chances. Another thing that I hear a lot of is how the Chargers don't have any wide receiver. Everybody keeps saying that. Who's playing receiver for the Chargers? They don't have anybody. You don't know about Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey was a second-round pick by the Chargers from this past year's draft out of Georgia. He was one of my top 10 rated receivers coming in. He not only is a very good route runner, but he has fantastic hands. He knows how to create a lot of separation. He also has a lot of acceleration. You're looking at somebody who can go 0 to 100 just like that. And if you're looking for underrated wide receiver to target in your fantasy leagues, look at Ladd McConkey, because he is without a doubt the best wide receiver on this team. And every year, we've always have had a few rookie wide receivers go off, especially the ones that get drafted past the first round, like Puka Nacua last year. Ladd McConkey could have the kind of year that we saw Nacua have last year for the LA Rams. He's that good. This dude was incredibly underrated during the draft process. When you look at what makes a good receiver, elite route running, the ability to create separation, good hands, Ladd McConkey has everything that you want. And a wide receiver that you can look at in Justin Herbert and say, yeah, you can be my go-to guy. You can be the guy that I can lean on in third down situations or big moments when I really need somebody to step up and make a big play. And Greg Roman doesn't really utilize a lot of 3 or 4 wide receiver sets anyway. He's normally somebody that runs a lot of 12 personnel, it's a lot of heavy sets because he wants to run the football. The Chargers are going to be a physical, tough football team with Jim Harbaugh at the helm as head coach. All they need Justin Herbert to do is just, win the game for them when they put the ball in his hands and they need a game-winning touchdown drive to win. That's when they're really going to need Justin Herbert to step up, and I believe he has the ability to do that. But other than that, I don't think they're going to be relying too much on Justin Herbert, at least compared to what they've done in years past, because now they're going to have the ability to be more than just a one-dimensional football team, which is what the Chargers have been ever since they first drafted Justin Herbert. You need to be able to play complementary football to be a winning football team in today's NFL. You don't need to be a top 5 passing attack and also have a top 5 rushing attack to go along with it. You just have to be able to be balanced when you want to or when you have to. The Chargers now have the ability to do that. This is a really underrated offense. You don't need a great receiving cast to win a championship. Jim Harbaugh, when he first was coaching in the NFL for the 49ers, his best wide receiver was who? Michael Crabtree? Vernon Davis at tight end? None of those guys are going to be future Hall of Famers, and none of those guys were even all that good. There's been so many teams that have won championships not having stacked wide receiving cores. Look at Kansas City. Their best wide receiver was who? Rashee Rice? I mean, come on. Stop overlooking the Chargers because they don't have an insanely talented team with a lot of guys that They're going to have a really good coaching staff. You're going to have an offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, where everywhere he's been, his offenses have produced monstrous numbers on the ground. And also, with Justin Herbert, I think that he's still going to be good, even though he's going to have Greg Roman, where the passing game isn't really his strong suit. Justin Herbert can help elevate Greg Roman and his passing philosophy in the sense. And I think Greg Roman definitely has made a few small tweaks to his offensive personnel and the way that he goes about scheming up things in the passing game due to how things ended with him in Baltimore. But Greg Roman is a really good offensive coordinator. He's definitely a great hire if you're looking for somebody who can maximize what you're going to have in the run game. Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins are good enough to get the job done. People need to stop sleeping on the Chargers offense this year and just stop sleeping on the Chargers in general if you are. You can't always judge a team based off talent. Sometimes the things that people judge teams off of aren't always able to be looked upon on paper, such as the impact of great coaching.